Hello and welcome to another edition of It's Just Me. I'm Brent Fox. Just came in from a hard day's worth of work, so excuse the appearance. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to be talking a little bit of boxing, and if I have time, I'll talk about my Steelers. So, in boxing news, of course, big news is that, of course, Keyshawn Davis is fighting Naeem Albright or Nair Albright, I'm sorry, Saturday. And basically, it's a rematch from the 2023 no contest, I think, that he wound up fighting Albright and originally in San Antonio, but a positive marijuana test voided the fight, basically. Then Albright went on to defeat Keyshawn's brother, Kelvin Davis, and unfortunately, that was the beginning of the fiasco. I think it was last summer, if I'm not mistaken. So, hopefully, Keyshawn, puts on a good performance, and there are no other issues or complications after the fight. So I look forward to actually seeing Keyshawn Davis, boxing wise, put on a good display or a good account of himself. And I expect the same from Nair Albright. I expect this to actually be a pretty good fight, to be honest. I think that people actually think because Albright's not a household name that he's not good, and that could not be further from the truth. He definitely could have beaten or taken out Frank Martin in a fight that I think took place earlier this year, and it wound up, I think, being a draw, if I'm not mistaken. Not mad at that at all, but yeah, Nair is actually a really good fighter. I will say that he was able to kind of figure out some deficiencies in Frank Martin and was able to utilize that. You can't be a bad fighter and not be able you can't be a bad fighter and be able to find out your opponent's weakness, analyze it very quickly, and come up with a counter strategy. Bad fighters don't do that. Good fighters do. So, I'm again looking forward to how this fight actually unfolds. I think that it's probably going to start off being a boxing match, but I do think somewhere probably in the middle rounds a fight's going to break out. And unfortunately, if a fight breaks out, I think Keyshawn Davis may actually overwhelm Nair, if that's the case. But I also think that if they actually get out of the fighting phase and then keep boxing for the duration of the fight, I think it's going to probably be a close decision. It'll probably go Keyshawn's way, but I think the best bet is to actually just box Keyshawn Davis and not try to get into a firefight. I think that would be a huge mistake, and I think Nair knows that. So I look for him to actually put on a very intelligent fight. I think that, yes, you can fight in spurts, but you have to be wise about when you're going to do that. And more importantly, your exit strategy once you feel that the exchanges need to stop. So I would look for something like that. And again, I think that it would probably be a very close fight if it goes as I anticipated. But Keyshawn Davis, unfortunately, is probably going to beat Nair again. The other fight that I'm actually looking forward to, and excuse the background noise, ice maker. The other fight that I'm really looking forward to is the return of Brian Norman Jr. Now, Brian Norman Jr., of course, is unfortunately best known for being defeated by Devin Haney. Again, this young man is still going to be a very prominent figure in boxing. I stand behind that statement, and I think, speaking of a statement, he is actually going to make one Saturday night. I do think that there have been some things that Ronnie Shield has actually helped Brian Norman Jr. retools, such as his jab. And I also think that he is helping Brian Norman Jr. With his defense just a little bit. And what I mean by that is I see Brian Norman Jr. actually jab and then immediately take his head off the line. Unfortunately, I don't think that he was doing that as much under the tutelage of Senior, and that is no knock against Senior. I think Senior had done a fine job up until that point. And then, unfortunately, I think that the media hype and these people that are on the internet kind of just hype them up because they do not like the Haneys. And anybody that's going against the Haneys, they're going to get behind and push and hype up. But they quite literally throw in the trash once they feel like they're of no use to them because they didn't get the results that they wanted. So, again, I'm looking forward to Brian Norman Jr. getting in there, putting a good display, putting on a good account for himself. I actually look, because he's under Ronnie Shields, I actually look for him to utilize his jab a lot more. And I also look for an improved left hook. I also am looking for improved lateral movement. And I think that's what actually helped the Charlos be successful early on. So I look for those types of things in Brian Norman Jr. So I can't wait to actually just see him. And I think the fight is actually going to wind up being on. Yeah, the fight's going to be on DAZN because I think Top Rank is under DAZN now. So yeah, the fight will actually be on DAZN. I think the card usually starts around 7 p.m., something like that. So looking forward to it. And in other boxing news, I am obligated to report that Jake Paul has offered Canelo $200 million for a fight. There has not been any word whether or not Canelo will accept or deny the deal, but unfortunately, the news cycle is that Jake Paul has offered this to Canelo, and we shall see what the result of that is. So, other boxing news. There is the return of Vasyl Lomachenko, black fight fans' favorite fighter. So, it appears that Jesus has risen. He's coming back to fight. It's an inside joke. Y'all please bear with me. Anyway, so the thing is that Lomachenko he has been massively overhyped his career, and while he has actually had a solid career, it wasn't the spectacular career that Bob Arum and others were actually just insinuating. And I think that Lomachenko's return kind of marks a new dawn of where boxing is actually going to go. Zuffa's hanging around, and I think Lomachenko's contract with Top Rank is actually over today, I think. So yeah, I think that since his contract actually ended and he's now conveniently not retired, then he's probably going to sign to Zuffa, make a fight with somebody, get a Zuffa belt, and all is going to be right with the world again. So we'll see. I think that he should actually at some point eventually fight somebody like Tank Davis, but I don't even know if Tank Davis is mentally ready to do what he needs to do. Now, honestly, given these legal situations, I think that Mr. Davis should immediately focus on training and preparing himself for a possible fight. He needs to really get in the ring and just basically get in a cycle to where he stays in the ring. That way there's no time for anything else. Training takes a massive amount of time and a massive amount of effort. So if you're constantly training, you really ain't got time for nothing else. You basically wake up, train. You may have a meal break or a nap. After that, you get right back out there, you train again. Then late in the evenings, if it permits, then you basically do sparring, or you're in the gym doing bag, mid work, jump rope, lateral agility stuff, footwork, stuff like that. So that consumes a large amount of time. You're at least working out twice a day for hours on end, like multiple hours. It's not just going to be an hour and you're done. You got multiple hours, like 2 to 3 hours basically, when you're in there working. So, I think being able to refocus on boxing would help Tank tremendously, or Gervonta tremendously. And yeah, if he's refocused, I'll get on board. If he's doing the same BS, no sir, not on board. And I'm kind of curious. Gervonta was a Muslim, and I think his name was changed to Abdul Wahid. I think it was Abdul Wahid Muhammad or something like that. I wonder what happened with that. No one has actually called him by his Muslim name, and now he just answers to Gervonta or Tank. I don't know what happened to his Muslim name, or I don't know what actually happened to him actually being a Muslim. Maybe he just did like a 30-day trial and quit. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. It looked like he turned in his Quran pretty quick. In other news, I'll get on my Pittsburgh Steelers here for a little bit. So, oh boy, we are still in Aaron Rodgers' watch. And to be quite honest with you, it's a waste of time. The man is going to arrive once he arrives. I'm sick of playing these games, to be quite honest with you. If he shows up, great. If he don't, to me, it's not the end of the world. Just go ahead and try out the quarterbacks that we already have. We know what Mason is. Let's just, in the preseason, put in Will Howard and Drew Allar. Now, what I will say is this. If it is a situation where, of course, Aaron Rodgers does not show up, then, of course, logically speaking, you want to make sure in training camp, whoever has like the best reps out of Drew Allar and Will Howard is actually going to start that first preseason game. Now, to be honest with you, what I would do is I would actually have them play a half, not a series, a full half of football each. So whoever does best in training camp, that's who's actually going to get the start. The other guy's actually going to do pretty much cleanup time in the second half of the first preseason game. And then it just goes so on and so forth. Whoever has the best performance that particular week gets the start. Whoever doesn't, they got cleanup duty. So, in the event that Aaron Rodgers does not show up, let's just go with that. It would probably be time to move on from him anyway. We have to move on from him sooner than later anyway. So I don't really foresee anything. I don't want to use this word But to be quite honest with you, it would be devastating if we didn't have Aaron Rodgers, because you have a wealth of football knowledge. You definitely have arm talent, and then you also have somebody that's actually familiar with the system. So you definitely would definitely need someone like that in there. But if Aaron Rodgers decides that he just, for whatever reason, doesn't want to play football anymore, or he just doesn't want to play with the Steelers, then, you know, we would just need to be able to move on. And to be quite honest with you, I'm very indifferent. I'm not going to waste time and energy trying to figure out when he's going to sign, or if he's going to sign. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We move on. We move on, because we're going to have to anyway. So yeah, it don't make me no never mind, to be quite honest with you. I am very excited about the composition of the offensive line, how that's actually going to shake out. I'm thinking that Ihanachor, they've actually put over at right tackle, so they're going to move Troy Fahatanu over to left. Now, Fahatanu did actually play left tackle when he was at Washington, but he was doing so well at right tackle in the NFL. I would hesitate to actually move him, because if you're doing something, why mess up a good thing? But if these people feel like it's probably better that he goes over to the left side and then Ihanachor goes over to the right, so be it. And then I think Dunker is actually going to probably wind up playing left guard. And then my guy, oh man, I'm forgetting my guy 66. I think he's probably going to stay playing it at right guard. And of course our why am I forgetting people's names, man? Oh boy. Zach Frazier, our center. Thank you. Zach Frazier, our center. Of course, is going to be where he's at. Now, if this particular line actually gels, like later on in the season, they're going to be hell to deal with. Especially with the run blocking, like late in the season. I really hope and pray that we have a late season surge to where we're able to run the ball effectively, and that will definitely set everything else up. So I kind of look forward to seeing how the development of the offensive line unfolds. Of course, we got the receiver room too. We picked up Jeremy Bernard, and I look forward to seeing what he could actually do. He's obviously very versatile, and I would love to see where he actually lines up primarily, and what type of base offense will probably run, whether or not it be like 11 personnel, which is basically one tight end, one running back, and 3 receivers, or if it's actually like or if it's actually like 12 personnel, which of course is the 1 running back and then 2 tight ends. So, or 2 receivers, excuse me. So, I would love to see how that actually develops, and look forward to seeing how things actually unfold in training camp and then on to the regular season as well. Now, the defense, I am kind of concerned, because we do have some guys like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt that they are very decorated veterans, but they're a little long in the tooth. So we need to make sure that they can remain as healthy as possible. There are going to be injuries. It's football. But I definitely I don't want to say put him on like a snap count or anything else like that, but I would be more prone to actually putting them in situational downs. Now, TJ Watt, we spent a lot of money on, so he's probably going to have to wind up playing. He's going to have to wind up playing every snap. Um, but I think with Patrick Graham being very innovative and very flexible, which is more important, he'll probably be able to adjust to the talents of TJ Watt, and then, maybe be able and maybe, just maybe, help TJ get back to that high caliber player that he once was. So we shall see. That safety room, the safety situation is going to be interesting too. I think Deshaun Elliott's probably going to be back for the beginning of the season, the regular season, excuse me. Probably not preseason, but beginning of the regular season, he may be back. We picked up, oh my goodness, the kid from the Bears. So excited to see what he actually does. And did we pick up? Yeah, we picked up like a 6th-round safety from Oklahoma, I think. We'll see. But yeah, that the safety's kind of running thin, and then we tried to do it with we tried to put why am I? Oh my God. Okay, we tried to put Jalen Ramsey at safety. Thank you. Tried to put Jalen Ramsey at safety, and it was kind of like an on off type thing. If it was on, it was really good. If it was off, it wasn't so good. Um, I really would prefer him maybe at a slot corner position, or maybe just kind of like a flex corner position, to where, yeah, sometimes you can line him up outside, but primarily you could just try to have him inside on your slot guy, and see how that actually works. He was very effective from the slot corner position with nickel blitzing and stuff like that. So, maybe we might run that again and see how effective he is at that. But yeah, very excited about the 2026-2027 Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, Despite how I actually feel about the new coach, and actually how I feel about drafting Drew Allard that high. Look, I don't mind drafting Drew Allard. I think it was just like the position that we actually drafted him in. Um, I think I know the boy from Oregon, the guard from Oregon, was still available when we jumped up to try to reach and get Drew Allard. And I think I still contend that he would have been available in the 4th round. But, we don't know now. We'll never know now. So it is what it is. Okay. So I am going to have to abruptly wrap this up, because I'm a real person and real life is happening around me. So thank you all so much for tuning in to It's Just Me. I'm Brent Fox. And until next time.